what's coming up for me right now, you spoke about your mom, you spoke about your dad. I have imperfect parents who are absolutely amazing humans, uniquely so. I would say uniquely so. Um, and what is clear to me is that given my constitution, right? Because there's three siblings, all of them with different experiences, but given my constitution, I got the bulk of what I needed from my parents. Everybody makes mistakes, right? But kind of that sense of like, "Shh, we're behind you, we got you, we got a way we want you to be, but you got a way to be yourself, that kind of vibration." And there's something you said about your mom kind of holding you, right? And your father kind of coming up short in some ways, but also like showing up now. And what do you think the people that don't have that, or the parts of you that didn't have that, right? What are the ways of reparenting ourselves? Because I think that's so much of what's happening. That's another benefit of entering your 40s. Like, if you don't do the work from like, that's all the childhood stuff. If you don't finally do it, you're gonna go to your grave small,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one of the tools that I love to use for that kind of work is the systems change iceberg, which you're familiar with,
Yes.
where, it's like most of the iceberg is below the water. At the top are the actions that we take in our life, then come the patterns, then come the structures, which I think of as either agreements that we have with ourselves and others, agreements in the society, invisible structures, but then visible structures like roads, and then boom, the bottom one, the highest leverage point of the iceberg is our point of assumption, our consciousness.
Yes.
And so working with that at Infinite Growth, I like to do an activity I call Whose Voice Is That? So when I have a belief such as it is not safe to be queer, whose voice is that?
Right.
And then start to make a mind map of who are all the different voices that I have in my mind who have told me that. And then just going one by one, back up and down the iceberg. Well, what structures were in place that caused them to believe that? What structures were in place that caused me to believe that? What patterns did that then create in the way that we thought we could or could not act? What are the patterns that we see in the community around us? What are the resulting actions from that? Or you can start with an action. Like, I get scared every time I'm about to walk on a stage and speak. So the action is, right? The pattern is it happens every time I'm walking on the stage. What's the structure? What's the underlying belief? Whose voice is that?
Beautiful.
And it's usually not my voice. My true voice. It might be a voice of a part of me. And I always say, I learned through studying internal family systems
Yes.
that I am of the nature to want to go in and take these voices and kill them.
Right.
Like, get out of the house. We all have all these different
Exile.
voices. Exile. I'm always just like, we're going to eradicate that
Yes.
voice. We're going to obliterate it. It doesn't exist anymore. And what I've learned is that actually all of these parts of me require complete love.
Gotcha.
That's the only antidote.
That's right.
Sit with them like you would with a kid.
Yeah.
And just get all these voices back into coherence and help them understand that they belong. And when you think about good parenting, that is what you are doing, right? You're sitting, you're creating boundaries for the child, you're helping the child to survive in the world, you're comforting them when they're sad, you're playing with them when they have energy. It's like we can do that for ourselves by just getting a little bit of distance from a little bit of separation from the pain and the turmoil. And just, I think of it, so the photographer in me, it's like I just need to, if I have a voice and I can feel in my body when the voice is not mine that I'm operating from, and I need to zoom out.
Yeah.
And then just engage it.
That's Powerful.
and be like, oh, wow, this is amazing. This is my mom's fear.
Right.
I could have just walked through my whole day with that. You know?
What an empowering perspective. Really, truly liberatory. And of course, it only comes. The one thing is to like understand the steps. One thing is to cultivate the stillness and the quiet necessary to have access to them, right? And that's where the meditation practice comes in. I love having that in common with you. Anything else that you would like to leave us with? Anything that might have been might not have yet been spoken that might be helpful or integral to wrap up the beginning of.
Yeah. So I'm always running experiments and with my life, in my life. And this, in 2019, my experiment has been to be in love all the time. So when I am freezing cold, when I am overcome with joy, when somebody has wronged me or hurt me, when I am full of rage and angry at somebody else, what is it like in those moments to be in love all the time? And it's really fun when things are going well. But I'll tell you the story. I had a loved one who has a lot of anger. And sometimes this person unravels in anger and becomes very violent towards those around them. And we had this experience where they were being violent towards me. And I know this is not who they are. I know that this is what's happening for them right now. But I've never, in the moment, I've never been able to get around defending or attacking back. And my practice of being in love all the time this year, I think, supported me. I started to react. I started to defend. And it came through, and I looked at them and I said, I love you.
Wow.
And their rage increased. And I said, I love you. And their rage increased. And it went on like this. And in that moment, I realized, you know what? This is for me. I'm doing this for me.
Wow.
It's like my meditation teacher says, you know, when you spew out hate, it's, you know, that fire, you burn yourself first, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, this was a moment of acting in my integrity, even under attack. And the best part is that the next day, when the person began to repair, they said to me, even though I could not react, even though I could not respond in that moment, I heard you. And that changed things for me.
Wow. Om Namah Shivaya. Medicine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be in love.
Be in love. I see you do it. It's been beautiful to be a witness to you.